going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Leon, and today I have with me someone who's been here before, but he's back. He's back with a book.
I'm back.
Will Elmore. So before we go any further, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the Impel Forward Podcast. What's going on, Will?
Easy does it, man.
Glad
Do
to have
it
you back.
easy.
Glad to have you back. Now, we're here to talk about your book.
Okay.
I think we mentioned it on the first episode. I can't remember.
We did. We mentioned it loosely.
Yeah,
we
loosely.
loosely mentioned it.
Right,
I
right.
did. I just kind of glossed over.
Yeah. So now we're here with it. First question. Why did you name it Prison from the Inside Out?
Having the kind of sentence I had, natural life, never to get out. Being talked out of committing suicide by my mother, being convinced to stay alive, have hope, and push through. I began on a quest to free myself from prison from the inside out, meaning within me. All my energy went towards how could I free myself internally and not even worry about physically getting out of prison. I started off worrying about physically getting out of prison. Excuse me. And that was too much to bear. It was too much. It was overwhelming. I got natural life. I lost my appeals. I didn't know law. They took the law library away soon after I started doing my time. And I had to make a tough decision. I had to decide what's more important to me, just getting out of prison or finding a deep sense of peace. And the answer was finding a deep sense of peace, because I had to admit to myself that prior to going to prison, there were some things in my life I had to reconcile myself to. So more importantly than getting out of prison, the physical prison, was freeing myself from the inside out. And ironically, I eventually got out of prison physically. So all my work was in how can I unlock all these cages that are within me, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just you name them, man. How can I figure out, how can I identify them, locate them, and unleash myself internally? Hence the title, Prison from the Inside Out.
So what was the first steps to freeing yourself from on the inside?
Being honest, critically honest about myself, how I felt about myself and why I felt the way about myself. I give an example. When I was at Salisbury prison, I took this class called Thinking for a Change, or CBI, Cognitive Behavior, something like that. And the instructor was a North Carolina native. And it was a big Carolina Panther game coming on TV. The class, might have had a class on Friday, and that Sunday Panthers was playing, right? And she was like, I know everybody's gearing up to watch the game, and everybody said something but me. I'm not a Panther fan, right? So she was like, Mr. Elmore, I noticed you didn't say something. Are you gonna watch the game? I was like, maybe not. She was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. It's like, no, I'd rather play sports than watch them. And she said, so you tell me you're not a Panther fan? I was like, nah, I'm really not. I like certain players, but there's nobody on the Panthers that I like except the guy, Steve Smith, the receiver. She almost said that was sacrilegious to be in the South and not be a Panther fan. And I asked her, why was she a Panther fan? And she was like, it's tradition. My family, we all Panthers fans. And I was like, I don't believe in that. I said, my family, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I was raised to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Lynn Swan, Terry Bradshaw, Tony, all of these guys. You probably don't remember.
Yeah, I remember.
But you remember that, all of them, right?
Yeah.
John Stallworth, you name Franco Harris. That was taught to me. But as I got older and started watching football in prison, I like different players on different teams. So my whole point to her was, we in this class about cognitive behavior, about how a lot of our thinking has been indoctrinated on us. Her attraction to the Panthers was more about how she'd been raised to be that way because it was her family tradition, a culture, than it was her appreciating the game of football.
Mm.
So to answer your question, those were some of the ways I examined myself. Why I like what I like. Why I spent 17 of my 25 years in a single cell. So I had quality time to really put myself under a light and dissect myself, every bit of myself, my thinking, my beliefs, my ideas, my favorite foods, my taste in women, why I like this car over that car, why I don't like this over that. And that was a joy for me because I literally was setting myself free. I literally was like, it's like having a blister on your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's always agitating you. When you finally stick that pen in there and you release all of that pus and stuff out of it, that's how I felt every day. And that I became addicted to that. So, and I still do it now. I cross-examine myself. Ironically, in my case, I went to trial and I was cross-examined. So my life has a series of examinations. I get all these opportunities like now to really question my own beliefs, ideas, ideals, and disbeliefs. So I'm always doing that. That's a joy for me.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. But you said you went on trial for yourself. You kind of
Yeah.
you did have a lawyer though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I didn't
yeah.
represent
Yeah,
myself
you didn't
in
represent
court,
yourself, right?
but I took the stand
took a
against
stand.
my lawyer's advice. I
Mhm.
took the stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it, again, part of me taking the stand it was more about something I felt I needed to do to speak my piece no matter how it went.
Yeah.
I was like, this is one opportunity I get to say what I want to say.
Yeah. Now in your book, it was a lot of similarities in there, but I didn't take the route you took. But you said you didn't want to take a plea because you felt like whatever the law was is not exactly what you did.
Right.
It was
Exactly. That's right.
break that down.
According now in jail, I was in Wake County Jail. They had a law library.
Mhm.
And you know, I always been studious. I love to read and try to comprehend what I'm reading. Okay, I'm in jail with a murder indictment. Let me go to the law library. I really want to understand what that word means. I had a Webster's dictionary. I looked up the word murder, but that's different from sometimes the words in the regular dictionary is different from the law's definition of certain words. I go to law library and I look up the word murder, what it really literally means: premeditated, with forethought, and with malice. None of that happened.
Right.
None of that happened. Man, I jumped for joy when I read that. I read it so much I could quote it. It was tattooed on my mind. So when I met with my lawyer, I was like, oh, nah, we going to trial. He was like, why? I was like, I quoted it to him and everything. He was like, that's pretty impressive, but son, you don't understand. This ain't about that.
Right.
I said, what I'm here for if it ain't about that? My indictment is first-degree murder, right? Yes, he was like, it's not about that. And that's another conversation. But literally, by definition, it's no way I was guilty of murder.
Right. Now you did, but what you're saying, the intent wasn't there.
No, forethought
Yeah.
wasn't there. Malice
Mhm.
wasn't there. Premeditation wasn't there. None
Mhm.
of that. I'm running away from a guy who's shooting at me and I'm shooting back turn. I had a retired FBI agent in my case who was a marksman. He was certified marksman. It was dark, raining, and he said he couldn't pull that shot off if he was trying to.
Mhm.
He's like, nobody could just do that. And by definition, murder is premeditated, forethought, malice.
And I know most people wouldn't even think to do what you did. And you was offered the plea for, I think it was 35 years. You said?
35
in the
and then
book?
28.
Did 28. Wow. See, when I say a lot of similarities, I was offered the plea, but even with me, it's because I'm like, at that age of 16 with me, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and take this plea because I'm ready to go. Because I'm already
Right.
thinking like 16, I'll be out soon enough to start my life over.
That's when my lawyer told me the same thing. You 21.
That's what I read in the book.
Said
I'm
the
like,
same
and I'm
thing to
like,
me.
oh, this is a lot of similarities. But you decided to take it to trial.
Yeah, I said, let me back up a little bit. Along my way of taking it to trial, 2 lawyers came to visit me and they said that I was going to be indicted for capital murder. They were trying to say I was trying to rob the guy in the committing of a felony I killed the guy, which makes it capital murder. Meaning, if I get found guilty, I go to death row. So that was I was blindsided with that as well, and they did everything they could to convince me to not go to trial, take the plea bargain. Because if I did go to trial, I'm going to be tried for capital murder.
Hmm. So what did that? Now, no, I was going to ask you, but I read in the book that you said you didn't waiver, that like you
Nah.
don't regret even doing that.
Nah, I still don't regret. Man, let me tell you something about my mindset. Being in jail quickened me in a spiritual way to where I had to find out the value of my life. I've been through some things that I tell people all the time that pained me worse than prison. My mother and father's divorce, not having my dad in my life, 2 life sentences, 3 of them don't compare to what that felt like. And a lot of that has to do with timing, man. I was 13 years old, man. And not having my father to give me direction, to give me insight, input, I still kind of tumble around in
with
that.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
to this day. Because I read in the scripture that children are like arrows in a quiver. A quiver is the little thing that Peter Pan, Robin Hood used to look like an umbrella holder. It's a quiver. You pull the arrows out. That's how they carry their arrows. Fathers are supposed to give their kids, aim them in a direction, man, in the way that they should go. And my dad didn't do that for me. So I had a million other pieces that was giving me direction and aiming me. Music, guys in my hood, some of my school teachers, people on TV that I looked up to. But none of them compared to not having my dad's fingerprints on my life. And I always admitted that to myself. When I got to prison, I still had that space in my head about who am I, what am I, and which way should I go with my life. I had strong women in my life giving me direction, but it's nothing like a father's direction. And I believe that's divinely designed like that. I believe that. And not only did my dad and my mom and dad get divorced, when my father went his own way, he wasn't in my life. He wasn't accessible. And I didn't identify another strong male to put in that slot. And as a kid, how do I know to ask you, hey man, father me? Hey man, give me direction. So I had a bit of anger and confusion that I harbored it well, because it only came out when somebody crossed my line and we had to, mix it up a little bit. But other than that, I walked around with a question mark about myself. And I knew what that was about. And when I got to prison, I kind of honed in on it.
So you was early in your years. Now, was it before you went to prison or when you got to prison that you realized that it was you not having your father? When did you start having those feelings about your father not being there? Was it before?
I always had them, but when I got to prison, everything that I felt about everything was highlighted. Because in prison, being in a cell for, like I said, for the 17 years, I ain't have nowhere else to go, man, but to deal with a lot of things that I kind of glimpsed at on the street. I had my moments on the street. I'd be riding in my car. I might go to the movies or to the mall or out to eat by myself. And I wasn't sitting around like depressed or sad, but I would always wonder, like, oh, don't let me see what I thought was a father and a son together on TV commercial or walking around the mall or something, man.
Yeah.
I would really have a frozen moment. And I would be kind of sad, like, yo, why would my dad want to chill with me? Like, I'm the coolest kid that he could ever chill with.
So let me ask, do you have those thoughts now?
Absolutely.
So I asked you that because I've shared a couple times. I don't know if I talked to you about it. I started having those feelings probably at 40. I'm 49 now. Probably at 42 years old, 43. I never had those feelings. Like you said you realized early on in life.
Early on, man.
I didn't never have those type of feelings until 42,
man.
43 years old.
I'll tell you something about how my dad my dad was gone all week. He drove a truck cross country. He was home on the weekends. So I didn't see him a lot. Weekends really was my time to go play. I'm always outside all the time. I'd rather be outside with my friends, but whenever I could convince my dad to spend some time with me, it always seemed begrudgingly. Case in point, I'm a professional baseball player that never played in the major leagues by nature. That's my sport of
Right.
choice. Naturally, my dad used to throw the ball to me, man, with all his might when I was, I guess, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. I ain't have no fear of nobody throwing the ball to me. My dad was a big guy, probably about 6'2", maybe 225, strong, truck driving, Alabama bred, mechanic hands. Used to throw the ball to me with all his might, and I used to catch the ball. You know why I used to catch it? Because I never wanted to displease him. I never wanted him to say, "You sorry." I never wanted him to say, "You scared of the ball." I never wanted him to say, "That's why I don't throw you the ball, because you can't catch it." It don't matter how close we was. I was going to catch that ball. It was going to kill me. My point in that is the time that I spent with my dad, it always felt like he was never present enough, and he wanted to just get that time over with. So, but what that did do athletically, I ain't had no fear on the baseball field. I could play with anybody. I don't care. Major league pitcher could pitch to me 99 miles an hour. I wasn't afraid of the ball. So even when he was present in my life, and before my parents got divorced, he was gone all the time. From Monday through late Friday night, early Saturday morning, he was working, driving the truck. When he came home, he was either getting drink, getting some rest, or getting ready to go out the house and womanize. That was his time. It wasn't our time. So when I did get a few moments with my dad, I cherished them. When they got divorced, that was gone. When I played baseball, my dad never came to none of my games. This before the divorce. But I'm playing baseball for him. I'm saying if I get good enough, he'll come to my games. If he saw my name in the paper, if he heard my name from other parents, if he just heard my name in the wind, he'll start coming to my games. So I did everything to attract his attention and support. And it just never worked. So yeah, I always had a sense of what can I do to get my dad to want to rock with me? What could I do?
Right.
If I had a fight in the street, my dad was watching in my mind. I'm not going to lose. My dad watching. I'm not letting him down. You could kick my ass all day long, but in my mind, not today. My dad watching. I lived in that space, and I still do that now to this day. I still yearn to please my dad. He passed away a couple of years ago. I still yearn to please my dad.
Wow. So what do you do about those feelings when they arise, when they come up?
I
And knowing that he's gone.
substituted my dad with God. When I was in prison and I got really into myself and I wanted to know what the heck is a man? What is a father? What is a son? I started reaching back to the creation of man. And that made so much sense to me because that filled in all the gaps. Now I'm still a human being. I still yearn for my fleshly father, but my relationship with God, my spirituality, man, it was the salve and the balm and the comfort I needed, man, because nothing else. My mother couldn't comfort me. She would try. My sister couldn't. Nobody could. God was the only thing I could fill that void with. And it gave me an understanding of him. He didn't, all the things I'm telling you I wanted for him, he never had them himself growing up. I learned that from my mother. She's the keeper of the history of the family. She said, your dad didn't have that. He didn't know how to give you that. As a kid, I thought it was some things were just innate. It would be automatic. You should automatically know. You the parent, because you know parents push that across the table to us all the time. I'm grown. I know better.
Right.
But when we realize that a lot of things, some things we know better than them, they don't want to admit it. And I started changing my anger for my dad to having empathy and sympathy, deep sadness for him. And when I got out of prison, he was in Kansas City. My dear sister located him. So me, my wife, her and her husband, my brother-in-law, we drove all the way to Kansas City to meet my dad. He was in tears. He was overjoyed, but he was talking as if he had been in my life the whole time. I ain't like that. It ain't going to be that easy.
Right.
You got it. I'm a man now. And I had used to remind him of that. Like, yo, you don't really even know me. You don't know me. I'm not 12 or 13 no more. You don't know me. That we could get to know each other, but you don't know me. And then he begged me to stay because he was sick. He had Agent Orange. He had some kind of cancer. He had high blood pressure. He had a lot of health problems, and he wanted me to stay and be a caretaker for him. And I said, ain't no way. I'm not going to do 25 years in prison and get out and be a caretaker for you. And to be really honest, you didn't take care of me, man. Yo, you left me to myself, man. You didn't look back. Yo, you was one of them. We was one of them old age movies, man, where you lead a little boy in the wilderness, and if he make it back to the tribe, he do. If he don't, he don't. That's how my dad left me, man, to figure it out. And that was ice cold. And it's only by God's grace it didn't make my heart ice cold, man. Because I wanted to be ice cold, because I didn't want to feel. Yeah, I used to say to myself, man, why can't you just be ice cold, man? Why you got empathy for the homeless, for the junkie, for a stray dog that got hit by a car, man? Why you feel for that? Why you even care, man? You need to be cold, because in my whole environment, and even including my situation with my dad, it required me to survive. I had to be cold. But somebody was praying for me, because I never could cross that threshold to be cold. Now, I could get cold, but I can't stay there. Yeah, I warm up. I cool off. I thaw out is the word, but I couldn't stay there.
Yeah. You say you had not mentors, but guys in your neighborhood you grew up around that you kind of lean towards because your father went there. Now, as a grown man having these feelings and the way you felt, do you have any mentors now?
Yeah, I got a plethora of mentors, man. Everybody, you one of my mentors, man. Seeing what you do, where you came from, there's certain aspects of yourself that I use as in mentorship. Man, I got so many people that I draw motivation and insight from. And it's like a composite thing, because there's certain things that identify in guys I met along my way. And some are older, some are younger, some are on par with my age, that I apply to myself, because I'm the first to admit I have no idea of what it really means to be a man. And I seek that out. I wake up every day seeking that out. And that takes an extreme amount of humility to admit that. Because, I'm a man. What you mean? I'm a man. You got a beard. You might have children. You go work out. You got a job. You might drink beer. You a man. So we think.
Right.
But I don't even know what that is. I'm still learning every day what it means to be a man. And wisdom tells me how to go about that without feeling less than a man. And see, that's a dichotomy.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because a lot of times you see people posting about somebody cooking on the grill, somebody cutting the grass, or somebody doing this, and say that's a real man.
Yes. Yep, that's right.
And I'm like, I question that. I'm like, well, what is a real man? Like, because a man don't do this, he's not a real man.
Like, because I ain't handy and I can't fix your car when it break down. I can't build you a deck. Then I'm less of a man. So that goes back to that in these indoctrinations that a lot of us live by and die by. And prison afforded me an opportunity to redefine everything for myself.
So why do you think it's so important to tell your story? Because sometimes you have people that say nobody wants to keep hearing that you've been to prison. Nobody wants to keep hearing your story. Think of something else to talk about. Right. But you are the only one who can tell your story.
Exactly.
And especially to help others. So what do you say about people that say that?
Turn the station, man. I mean, look, I could drive from where I live to here. It'd probably take me about 40 minutes. And if I turn the radio on, I'm going to hear the same song 7 times, man. In 45 minutes. Ain't nobody complaining about that. Hear the song so much, you know the lyrics. And it's probably some bull crap music. But if you see a real human being talking about something that he or she has been through, that has value to them, has substance to them, in the spirit of maybe if I give myself away, in a way, it'll be helpful to you. What's the problem with that? And if you don't like it, turn the station. I mean, unfortunately, I'm 55. I wasn't born in prison, but prison is where I found the value of myself. So my story is therapeutic when I tell it. And everybody hasn't heard it, but I could go to YouTube right now and all them cats talking about the same thing. And they got millions of viewers.
Yeah.
So what we talking about?
Yeah, it's people. They'll tell you not to tell your story so much, but they're telling. If you listen to, it's like when 50 Cent told Ja Rule about
Exactly.
singing, then he started singing.
He started singing. So I see the hypocrisy, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just see the contradiction in what a lot of people say. And if I was to embellish my story, gloss it up, make it real gutter, real street,
Right.
then more people will listen, because I understand that in the words of a Wu-Tang song, the dumb are mostly intrigued by the drum. Meaning most people just listening to the music. They're not really listening to the lyrics. So because people are attracted to the flair and the glare, I know how to tell my story in a way. I could tell you some real gritty prison stories, and I could get a whole bunch of viewers, whether they true or not. And because I've been to prison, who gonna question it?
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, yo, he kept it 100. But I don't want the views for those kinds of things. I want a more holistic, a more humble, a more vulnerable story to tell. Because I know too many guys who pitch their life that way, and it don't benefit nobody. It influences people to go that way. You know, I'm one of the few people, man, that will tell you that I thought about suicide. I can't tell you. I know a busloads of people who came to me and said, "Yo, I just thought about it last night," but they would never sit here and say that. No, man, they don't want nobody to know, because that's weak. In their idea of a man, that's weak to them. That means you can't handle your life, man. That means you suspect. That's where their mentality is. And perhaps in my youth and inexperience, that's where my mentality was. But one thing about my personality and my nature, man, sometimes I'm honest to a fault. That's how I felt. And I didn't feel like it was because I was weak or a coward, man. I didn't want to deal with it. That's how I felt.
Yeah, we talked about that on the first episode, but in reading your book, to make sure I got this right, I said it earlier that you said that you didn't regret not taking that plea, and you said that you say you didn't regret it, but then you thought about killing yourself or wanted to kill yourself.
Yeah, that's after I got found guilty and was sentenced. My mindset said, man, there's no way I'm gonna sit in here for the rest of my natural life. It's just, I'm not doing that. I would rather figure out how to take my life than sit in here for the rest of my natural life, because in the words of Marvin Gaye, this ain't living. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give the state, the prison, the warden, the opportunity or the satisfaction to house me in a penitentiary for the rest of my natural life, meaning as long as I'm inhaling and exhaling. I'm not doing that. And I still felt that way, but my dear mother, talked me out of thinking about committing suicide. And I'm grateful because I'm out of prison now. But more importantly, man, the character of the man that I am supersedes what it felt like to be in prison, man. That trumps all. I know a lot of guys did 30, 40, 50 years, man. They don't got no character. They did all kind of stuff in the penitentiary that I would never tell, but they know and I know when we see each other how they did their time. They did their time in a way, man. You I don't know if you could bounce back from some of the stuff they did, because they couldn't cope with it.
Right.
You understand? And I think it's power when you could be honest about how you feel about something. When you can't be a man and be straight up honest about how you feel about something, I think you get pulled in a lot of different directions, man, that you really are so ashamed of, deeply ashamed of. I know some cold killers in prison. Seen them in action. But I'm telling you this, some of them, they did abominational acts in prison.
Yeah.
But everybody was scared to death of them because they could care less. They was cold. But how they got down when the lights went out, it was totally contrary to the respect and the repertoire that they had.
Yeah.
And they out now. Some of them out now, man, and they dealing with that. They're dealing with the shame of that. See, they physically out, but internally, they locked down, man. They locked down internally. And when I look at them in their eyes, they know what I know. And they shake my hand and say, man, boy, you did it, man. Then they whisper to me, as cold-hearted as I was, I ain't had the strength of character that you had to do your time the way you did it. I wasn't man enough to do your time the way you did it. I wish I would have been, because some of the stuff I did, I can't erase it. I'm tormented by it.
Right. Yeah. So you and another thing, you wrote a letter to your victim.
Yeah.
Not to the victim, to his widow and his daughter.
Yeah.
Correct.
When I was in jail, I stayed in jail almost 2 years, man. I woke up and I felt inspired to write a letter to this guy, his wife, and his daughter. And I basically said, hey, if it's God's will, this letter will reach you. But it's on my spirit heavy to say to you that what you've been told about me, what you've heard about me, it's not true. I don't know what they told you happened that night. And I can't imagine what it's like to be a widow and you to have a daughter that's fatherless and think that William Elmore is the cause of that. You don't know me at all, but I pray that God reveals to you what really happened. What they're saying happened is not what happened. I'm sorry for your loss as a wife, who's now a widow. I'm sorry for your loss as a little girl without a fatherless. And I just told you how I feel about not having my dad in my life. So they're trying to say that my choices rendered a little girl to be fatherless. That I'm sensitive to that. I don't know if they ever got that letter, but here's what I do know. I gave it to my lawyer. I told him why I wrote it, and I asked him, can you please make sure they get it? He said he would talk to the DA. I never heard from that lawyer about that letter again. But what I do know is when I came up for my map, everybody from the arresting officer to the victim's family has a chance to say yay or nay. And if anybody would have said nay, I'm not out of prison. So I like to believe that my intent, whether they got the letter or not, my sincere intent was honored by God, because they didn't protest. They didn't say no. And they could have.
Now, were they in court when you went
No.
trial?
Oh, in trial, I don't know. I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
I never seen this guy. I didn't know he was married. I found all that out. I found out when my lawyer brought me my discovery. That he was a husband and had a daughter. I don't know the guy. I never seen the guy before.
Now, explain to the people, audience, what is a map?
A map is a contract. Anybody that got a life sentence, I think it's just particular to life sentences, before 1992 was eligible for a second chance by way of a map. MAP is an acronym for Mutual Agreement with the Probation and the Parole Commission. Not necessarily meaning you're going to get it, but it's available for you. And good lawyers usually kind of seek that out and to get that applied to their clients. I didn't know it existed. However, I qualified because I was sentenced before they extinguished the MAP program. After 1992, they'd stop administering them or making them available to guys like myself. So when I heard in 2012, I got a letter from the parole commission saying, hey, we're considering you for a MAP. Actually, my program in prison is like high school or college guidance counselor. Programmers have a list of people that they got to see every month. My programmer called me to the office and said, man, I got some great news for you. I had been in prison 22 years at the time. And she said, they're considering you for a MAP contract. I was like, what is that? She explained to me everything I'm saying to you. And what they're going to do is you're going to go to another prison. They're going to interview you. And if you pass the interview, and she said, I have no doubt that you will pass this interview and you get this contract, you could get out of prison. And I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm excited about that. And she told me, one thing I won't forget that she told me, she said, look, listen, it's a negotiation. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, you can negotiate. They may say they want to give you a 5-year map or a 3-year map or 18-month map. She said, you can kind of argue your case if you want and say, hey, I think I could go home in 6 months instead of 18 months. Man, I was so excited to get the map. I signed the map first, then I tried to negotiate.
Wait a minute, you ain't go to the library? You ain't read no books?
I ain't do that. Nah, I ain't do that. Only
Yeah.
book I was reading at that time, after 22 years, was I've been journaling, so I've been writing books. So I spent less time reading and more time writing. I still read a lot, but I spent less reading and more time writing.
Mm. So who inspired you to do a book? That would something you thought of? Somebody said you should do a book.
Yeah, Susan Simone, who's on the back picture of me and her. When I was in minimum custody, after I got my map, you automatically go to minimum custody. I got a 36-month map. So the whole objective is to let me get a little bit of work release, let me get some CV passes under my belt, and let me start getting smelling what fresh air was like. When I got to the minimum custody facility in Orange Correctional in Hillsborough, they had so many people coming in and out of that prison. They were volunteers. Some were teaching guys how to read and write. Some were teaching guys another language. Some were coming in to do a book club. And Susan Simone, in particular, when she came into the prison, she was doing a book club. So over my time in prison, when I got to minimum custody, you do a lot of time. You bump into guys in different places. So some of the guys I did time with at different camps were already there. And immediately it was like, man, you should come to reading and discussion class. And I said, what's that? It's your type of thing. You read, you could dissect, you could litigate, you could debate, you could do all of that. I went to the class, I met the facilitator, Susan Simone, and in getting to know her, I told her how much I enjoy writing. And I told her I had a couple of hundred journals I kept over my tenure in prison at the time, 22, 23 years. She said, really? I said, yeah, I just recorded my life, man. So it was all for me. The good, the bad, the ugly. She said, you should do a book. I said, I got books. To me, they were my books, hundreds of them. She said, no, you should do the kind of book that you could kind of put in maybe Barnes and Noble or something on Amazon or something like that. She said, well, and that's what I do. She said, I'm a transliterator. And she said, since you eligible for CV passes, I could get my husband to bring you out, and during your CV passes, we can meet at the library, we can meet at my house. I'll interview you, you talk, I'll record it, and I'll transcribe it. We could do the book that way. And we got started. And the book wasn't completed till a few years after I was out. And an organization called the Human Kindness Foundation, who donates books to all across the country. They have a strong rapport with the prison systems all across the country. They published the book. She has friends that work with the Human Kindness Foundation. And when they told her, I met them too, when they told her that when she told them that she was helping me do a book, and then she was telling them something about the excerpts and reading some of the chapters to them, it was like, this book could be great to get on our book list to give to prisons for free. So just to give them their props, if you're in prison and you get a Human Kindness Foundation periodical, in their periodicals, they have a book list. All you got to do is write them and ask for one. So when my book got put on the periodical, their book list as a free book, guys who knew me or not would write to them and request a book, and they would send them a free copy.
So how do you think your book can help? Is it more geared towards to help inmates or people, or to keep ones who haven't even reached that point of going to prison, to keep them away?
I think my book is for anybody that's really ready to be real and honest about their life. They don't got to be prison. I think prison can be a metaphor for a lot of. It could be your job, man. You know, it could be your neighborhood. It could be your association or your affiliation. It could be your religious preference, your church or your mosque. It could be anything you not sure why you feel bound to. It could be your marriage. If you feel bound to something and you don't feel free within that thing that you're trying to coexist with, then you're in prison. And my book is a candid look at a guy who discovered so many layers and so many cells and so many bars and so many lockups and so many different things that I was bound to prior to physically going to prison. And I went on a relentless quest to find the keys, man, to set myself free. And I still do that. That's my muscle memory. I don't care what it is, man. It could be something I undoubtedly enjoy. I got to question that because I ain't afraid to say, man, I don't like that no more. I don't like it no more. I'm free enough, man, in my life to say I used to love this, but I don't like it no more. I'm on to something else, man. Because I think life too short, man, just to feel bound and static in anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my book is, man. It's a glimpse at what that looks like.
As far as when you say what it looks like, what go into more details about what does it look like?
Having a natural life sentence. Like when you go to prison, man, you got a parole date. The prison system uses that as leverage to get you to do what they need you to do. If the kitchen is short on staff, meaning inmate staff, right? We need 5 guys to run this kitchen. And you go home in 18 months. I tell you what, Leon, if you come in this kitchen, we'll abbreviate your 18 months to say 15 months. You give us these last 15 months in our kitchen, you go home. So you can shave 3 months off your sentence. Or I tell you what, Leon, you're a nice guy. We hate to do this to you, but if you don't go in the kitchen, man, we're going to lock you up for disobeying a direct order. We're going to write you up for disobeying a direct order. You know, a write-up can set your 18 months back to 24 months. So what do? I got the kind of sentence, man, that I'm already a dead man. You can't hurt me. What am I do to benefit myself while I'm in prison? Write-ups is not going to hurt me. I got natural life. Doing what you want me to do is not going to help me. I got natural life. So the very nature of my sentence afforded me the mentality that I'm going to really tailor make this for me. I'm not going to take a job. I'm not going to take an assignment. I'm not going to play on a basketball team. I'm not doing nothing I don't want to do. If I do it, it's because I believe in it. And I had a mock interview at a camp I was at for minimum custody. And they told me that they wanted to do a mock interview for a minimum custody review. It was way before I got my map. And the lady, one of the programs asked me, she said, look, I reviewed your case. I understand your case is drug related. Why would we consider you going to minimum custody when you have more access to the street? Shouldn't we be concerned that you would get back involved with drugs? I said, that kind of makes sense from your vantage point, but here's my vantage point. I said, the only reason I'm not selling drugs right now on your campus is because I don't believe in them anymore. Has nothing to do with going to the hole. Has nothing to do with losing visitation privileges. It has nothing to do with getting a write-up. Nothing. It's simply because I don't believe in it no more. That's my reason why I do everything. She hated that answer. You know why? In my opinion, how many people you know feel comfortable in a space with any individual that can look the world in the eye and say, man, I could change my mind tomorrow. Because if I stop believing in anything that I'm doing, I'm gonna walk away from it. That's makes people uncomfortable. Because it makes me look at my life and say, why I don't have that kind of courage? Why I stay stuck in a situation I don't believe in? Because I'm afraid to step out of it. I'm afraid of what's beyond it. I'm afraid of what's next. So when somebody enters this space and that's their ether, to where, hey, man, if I don't believe in it, I ain't doing no more. I don't care what it is, man. That's offsetting, man. That kind of highlights that makes me look at myself like, yo, I really don't want to be here, but I come every day and I got to question myself. I got to examine myself. Life is too short. Nobody really wants to change directions. It requires too much for certain people. And I exude that for myself. I don't try to model that for nobody else.
Right.
My sentence gave me a different trajectory in my thinking, man. I'm gonna do this time my way. I'm not doing it to appease the whatever prison camp I'm on. No, man. I'm not trying to make this easy for you, nor am I trying to make it hard for me. But at the bottom line, man, I'm here.
Wow. And in your book, you talking about it was a place in there where you just listen to you talk, and you say you read a lot of books, and I can tell you read some books. Did you have your GED or you don't have your GED? Because
I got it. I mean, I got it when I was in prison.
So you did get it when you was in prison. Okay, because
I dropped out of high school in 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Had a chance to go to Seton Hall Prep high school and could have went right into the college.
Yeah, because I was reading how that when it was some type of class you was in, it was a class for GED, and you was going to get it, and the lady wanted you to help. She wanted you to be a
Instructor,
instructor,
a tutor.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why I was asking. Did you ever get it?
Yeah,
because I never got mine.
I got it.
Okay,
yeah. I actually being a tutor in the GED kept me from going out in the field to pick cotton and corn and cabbage at Caledonia Farm.
Yeah, I mean, I seen you talking about Caledonia.
I skated right into that, and I really enjoy helping people anyway.
Right.
That's kind of my nature, so I really enjoyed that, helping tutor guys to get their GED.
So let's talk about your mother.
Man. Oh man, my mom's in her 70s, man, and I'm watching her work so hard. And my mother is my rock, man. I told you, my lowest point, I was trying to check off, man, check out. And my mother said to me, she begged me to look at her. At CP, you don't have contact visits, man. It's behind a wall. You got a little mesh, little squares mesh, and you look through it. You could barely, it's all fuzzy. And she convinced me to look her in the eye and tell her that I wouldn't give up. And then she gave me her word that she wouldn't give up. And that was the most pivotal, that was a turning point for me, because I saw the wear and tear in my mother's eyes. I saw the sadness in my mother's eyes, and that frightened me. And again, it made me feel like if I could just get this all over with, I'd be one less thing she got to worry about. One thing I don't believe in is being nobody's burden, man. I'm not going to be the one, man, you got to wait on, you got a problem with, that's in your way, man. I'm going to get out your way. And I felt like that this situation was insurmountable for my mother. But my mother, man, she got this godly faith, man, and this hope to keep pushing, keep moving, keep fighting. And I have it too, but I was tired, man. I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it, man.
How old were you at that point?
I just had blue trial. I was 22. I was at CP,
okay.
processed at Central Prison. And she said, promise me. And I did promise her. And we had our battles, our visit, because now I'm on this truth quest, right? So I can't challenge myself. I can't evolve. I can't grow. I can't grow without her growing with me. We visit every week. So she became my sparring partner. And it wasn't comfortable all the time, because a lot of the indoctrinations and shit that was in me came from her. Not all of them, but a lot of them came from her. A lot of quotes that she would say that were empty, but she meant well, I would question that. And that made her shift her seat sometimes. The parent thing would kick in, and I got nothing but time to study. People out in the world didn't have the time that I had. They got to work. They got to figure out what they're going to eat. I'm in the cell 17 years, man. I'm a mad scientist, man. So any word you say to me, man, I became like, say that again. Because as my value of myself increases, you're not going to keep shooting that bull crap to me, man. Those empty, sweet nothings. I don't run off that gas no more. I need high octane, man. You can't just give me some watered down gas and think that's going to carry me. And I demanded that. So much so, I remember telling my mother and my sister, if we're not going to keep it real, stop coming up here. I wasn't arrogant. I wasn't angry. I had developed a deep sense of value for my time, for my mind, and for my life, where you wasn't just going to sit across from me and say anything.
Now, why would you say that? Like, it's like when they was coming to support you.
They're coming to support me, but because they didn't really know how, they would tell me these platitudes, these, I would call it Pollyanna things. Like, it was things that wasn't even realistic. I remember one time, I had a visit with my mother and her two sisters, which are my aunts. And I was telling them how much I hated prison, how I hated being there. I had probably been in prison about 7, 8 years at the time. And then one one of my aunts said something. Magic Johnson was announced that he had AIDS or HIV, and she's used that. She didn't mean any harm, but she tried to use that to say, "Yuck, it could be so much worse." Right?
Yeah, I see what you
And I basically said, as nice as I could, let me tell you something. I don't know nothing about what it's like to have HIV or AIDS, and I'm not Magic Johnson. He don't know nothing about what it's like to be sitting in prison with a natural life sentence, and he not me. So I don't compare pain to pain to make myself feel better. Yeah, anything could be worse, and it could be better. It's two sides to this. It's both and. And growing up in a religious family, my grandfather being a pastor, which is my mother's father, my mother knew a lot of biblical quotes, a lot of spiritual songs. And at times when she didn't know what to say, she would say certain things to me to make me more positive or hopeful. That's the word, to make me hopeful. And a lot of it was empty. It was just, positive affirmations. And I would appropriate them properly. I would take them and say, Mom, that goes right here. That's not gonna carry me. When you leave and they say visitation is now over with, I gotta go back in this jungle. So with all due respect, don't just shoot that to me because you don't know what else to say. We could just sit here and be quiet. And she would tell me in letters or on the next visit that she left there pissed off at me. At times she thought that I was ungrateful, that I didn't appreciate all of the sacrifices that she was making, unbeknownst to me, because we would have these real talks, man. I'm thinking of a way to describe it. It's kind of like this. Sometimes when you think you getting down and you doing things, man, it's easy to think that way because of your competition level is low. But when you get in an arena where you're around consummate, trained, qualified people, then you start to get an accurate measure of your abilities. Me going to prison put everything under the light. It put how healthy or unhealthy my relationship with my sister was at the time, how healthy or unhealthy my relationship with my mother was at the time, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, because now me being in prison, it challenges everybody to put up or shut up. When I was on the street, the people who said I was their favorite nephew or favorite cousin, or said they loved me on my birthday, on Christmas, they showed acts of kindness. Now I'm in prison, I'm stationary. Where they at now? And that's the kind of stuff my mother used to subtly try to defend. Oh, they busy. And just because you came to prison don't mean that everybody else need to come to prison, right? I'm like, okay, cool. My birthday coming up. I'm going to see where they at now. And when they didn't show up, I would say to my mother, that's what I'm talking about. It's easy to be involved when I'm out there. It's easier.
But could you really blame them though? Because earlier, like you said, you had time to read or do whatever. And when they on the outside, like you said, they're working. They got to take care of kids.
Here's what I had to come to terms with. I wasn't blaming anybody, but I'm gonna give you a real example, right? I'm in prison 25 years. A lot of people died. Some people got married. Some people graduated college, et cetera, et cetera. So my family is spread out all over. So my mother would make her way to these events. And everybody there would say, how's your son? Tell him I love him. Tell him I miss him. Tell him to write me. She come back with a plethora of addresses, phone numbers, everything. I ain't got nothing else to do, right? I'm in prison. I love to write. I write 40, 50 people. Every week at visit, she said, hey, you wrote so-and-so? I wrote them all. You heard back from them? Nope. Next week, I wrote them again. You heard back from them? Nope. And then I got to a point where I started saying, hey, just send a card. I know you busy. You might not even like to write. You asked about me. Send a card. I don't make no excuses for nobody because of this. Nobody owed me anything. Nobody put me in prison. They asked about me. And I initiated the conversation by way of letters, and phone calls. And I said, hey, above all things, pretty much all of y'all church going people, pretty much all of y'all have said either behind my back or under your breath that had that boy stayed in church, he might not be in prison. So I'm going to honor that.
Mhm.
I'm in a type of church, my own church. And I see why y'all say what y'all say. But for the love of God, for the love of this Jesus that y'all say y'all honor, even Jesus said when I was in prison, y'all never came to see me. When I was cold, you didn't give me your North Face. When I was hungry, you didn't feed me at Pure Soul. What's the problem? This is what y'all was saying to me while I was in the street doing my thing. Now I'm finally sitting still, right? And I'm finally coming to the light, and I'm trying to meet y'all where y'all say y'all have always been. Let's build. On this note, if no other note, I ain't asking you for no money orders. I'm saying let's build. I'm ready to spar spiritually. Y'all been going to church all y'all lives. Got me going to church when I was young enough to not say no. I got into the street. I deviated from that. Now I want to build with y'all, and I got no crickets, pin drop. But next year, when my mother went to a family reunion or a funeral, they played the same record. How he doing? Tell him I love him. Tell him we praying for him. Tell him we miss him. And I got to a point where I was like, Mom, this time when you go to the family reunion, miss me with that. I don't want to hear it. I don't got time for it. I don't want to have time for it. I don't want to go along to get along. And I ain't got no beef with nobody. I really don't. And when I see him now that I'm out, I don't walk up to him and say, oh man, you funny style, you fake, you flake. I don't do that to nobody. That's where they at. But the lesson in it for me is, man, I'm not going to be like that, because that's totally contrary to what you say you believe.
Now, in your book also, you said that when you was on a run, that you called your mother.
Yeah.
And she was in Georgia, Atlanta.
She was
somewhere?
in Georgia. She was in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some guys from Raleigh to take me as far as they could. And they said they could take me to Greensboro. I had never been there. They took me to Greensboro, right by the college.
Mm-hmm.
And I never will forget it, man. It was really cold that night, probably about 30-some degrees. And there was a Burger King that they dropped me off at. And it was about to close. And I'm like, man, what you gonna do? And it's cold. So I got to get out the store. Because they closing, they looking, they peeking at, they cleaning up, they shutting it down. And outside the store, man, was this big old brick chimney, man. And I don't know what it was there for. It was from the ground up. It was like a cylinder brick thing, man. Probably about, I don't know, 20 feet in circumference, man. And it had heat coming from it and steam coming out the top of it. And what I would do until my mother came to pick me up, I would lean on it, get my backside warm, and I would turn around and hug it and get my front warm. And I did that, I don't know, 6 hours from at Stone Mountain to Greensboro. However many hours it took, that's the only thing. I leaned on it with this shoulder. That's the only heat I had until she pulled up.
All right.
And when I called her, she was like, where are you? And I told her I'm by Burger King on such and such street by A&T College. And she came and picked me up, man.
And the reason I went to that, because you said when she was coming to see you in prison, and I'm thinking about when I was reading the book, how when you went to Greensboro and she came and got you, knowing that you was in trouble.
Yep.
But when she's seeing you, she's feeling like you felt ungrateful.
At visit.
At visit. But I'm just remembering back, like reading the book and listening to you, it seems like, I guess the way you was feeling, she probably had a reason to feel like you was ungrateful.
Oh, absolutely. I don't fault her for having felt ungrateful, thinking that I wasn't appreciating everything she had done for me, everything she was doing for me at the time. And maybe I was a little ungrateful. I don't know. But I do know that in my process of evolving and developing as a man, I understood the strength of repentance, apologizing, and coming to myself. I had wrote my mother and my sister letters, and wish I could get them back out the mailbox. Impulsive, immature, misdirected frustrations. My dad ain't there. I can't really take it out on him. So I'm throwing punches in the dark, man, and I'm hitting some of the wrong people. And when I came to myself, man, I'm in the cell for 17 years, man. A lot of meditation, a lot of private time, a lot of reconciling myself, man. And when I realized that, man, you misspoke. You owe them an apology. Same way I got up 3 o'clock in the morning and I wrote to the victim's family, I would write letters to my family apologizing to them. You know, I meant what I said at a time based on misinformation, based on ignorance, based on immaturity. I beg your pardon. You listen, bro, you can't grow and develop, man, if you ain't got no fumbles.
Right.
How good are you as a running back? You ain't got no fumbles, man. Come on, dude. You ain't got no turnovers. You ain't missing no buzzer beaters. That's questionable. I got plenty of them, but they all honest. That's the key for me about life. I'm honest in my mistakes.
Right.
Yes, I'm honest when I mess up.
Yeah.
And I'm humble enough to say, man, I messed up. I was wrong. I dropped the ball.
Yeah. So talk about, I don't think that's in your book. I know it's probably not because you just recently did this, the TED Talk.
Me and my mother did it together.
Man, when I seen that TED Talk, man, I was like, I was waiting for one of y'all to break a tear. It didn't happen. I'm like, and I asked you, I said, man, how did y'all not cry doing this?
Yeah, you did ask me that.
That was.
I think we cried in a different way.
Mhm.
I think we cried tears of joy because we went from Wake County Courthouse, a murder trial, to Duke University, sharing the stage in a TED Talk. That's overwhelming, man. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, me and my mother side by side. And we practiced, we rehearsed because they told us there's certain things I couldn't say.
Okay.
Yeah, like I couldn't talk about my case. I was going to, and they was like, you can't talk about your case. You can't. It just went against the rules of the TED Talk. So we had to rehearse our timing. I had to realize what words, when she said that word, then I spoke. And she had to learn that when I said this word, she spoke. So we would like kid and play. We had to go back and forth that way. And when we graced the stage, as unbelievable as it was, I will say, man, my mother and my sister and I, we've seen the unbelievable. We've done it before, man. Me being out of prison is unbelievable, man.
All right.
Yeah. Me being on the run for 2 years is unbelievable, man. Me being in my house in New Jersey and the FBI coming to my house looking for me, and I'm in the house, is unbelievable. We seen miracles, man. And I'm not one of these dudes, man, that's running around with a tambourine and a church fan saying hallelujah every 5 minutes, man. But we did the unbelievable, man, more than once, man. And that's what my book is about, telling people, man, you can too. God ain't no respecter of persons, man. Man, don't you know you a God, man? You created an image of God, man. Yo, man, you could do the unbelievable, but so many of us have been jaded. Something happened and it tripped our wire. My situation forced me to either be unbelievable or die. I didn't have no gray area. You either gonna be unbelievable and you're gonna walk by faith, or go ahead and give up the ghost now. That's it. And prison wasn't, man, my father not being in my life, man, left me wounded like that, man. You either gonna get up now, right now, and try to figure this out, or you're gonna just lay there and die. And I don't have the language to explain what that felt like. Like we could talk. Man, I read a lot of books, man. I love words. I play a whole lot of Scrabble, right? So I love words. I love articulation. I love expressions. I know some wordsmiths in prison that did just as much time, and that's all they do, man, is study the law. Like, it's entertaining to hear them talk. And I done had sparring contests with these guys with words. I love words because words are powerful, right? They precede actions, and whether they in your head or whether they come out your mouth. And I don't have the language to describe what that felt like to not have my dad in my life, man. I'm not one of them guys that say, hey, man, a lot of guys don't got dads in their life, man. I made it, No, I'm always that little boy, man, yearning for his dad every day.
Yeah, that's to hear that because like I said, when I started having those feelings at 42, I was like, what's going on?
What's going on, right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
at,
yeah.
at that age, you would assume
Yeah.
you would be
Be
past
good.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You ain't never past that, man. Never. My favorite actor is Samuel Jackson.
But the when we get back to that, the funny thing about me is, I never had any type of negative feelings towards my father, and we still got a good relationship to this day.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's healthy. That's
Mhm.
innate.
Right.
We are designed to yearn for your dad, man. And this is what I believe. And my favorite actor is Samuel Jackson. You know why?
Wow.
He reminds me of my dad.
Hmm.
So every time I'm watching him, the movie could be garbage. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's one way that I get a glimpse of my dad. Certain behaviors, his gestures, sometimes the way he cussed somebody out remind me of my dad. And I tell my mother all the time, she said, "You like that Samuel Jackson? He reminds you of your dad, don't you?" I say, "Yeah, it's certain." It's not a moment in my life I don't think about my dad, man.
Mhm.
Even in prison, I always thought about my dad. I used to write my dad when I was in prison. I would send, when I found out how technology worked, you could Google somebody. I would ask my sister, who's my personal IT person, right? I
Mhm.
told her she needed to work for Apple support.
All right.
Find my dad for me. And she would get a couple of addresses and I would write them. The letters never came back and I never got a letter back. But I never, and then even sometimes her and my mother would kind of begrudgingly try to ask me to stop because they saw the pain it was causing me. They saw the excitement when my sister would find an address
Mhm.
that might be his, but the pain, weeks go by. You heard anything? Did the letter come back? Nah. But I wouldn't give up because innately, man, I'm all, it's a part of me, man, always looking to connect with my dad. And I'm proud of that, man. Yeah, I'm one of the guys that know that I'm not my whole self without that rapport with my dad. Now, can I live a good life and all of that?
Mhm.
I'm not disabled by that, but I know in my heart, man, I yearn for he's passed now. So, and seeing him in Kansas City maybe a year or two before he passed was a great achievement, but we never really connected.
Mhm.
But I'll take what I got. It's some people didn't have that. But I'll take what I got. But I'm humble enough to acknowledge, man, that I'm a mama's boy and I'm a papa's boy. Like, yeah, my dad, man. I grew up with my dad in my household. And when they divorced and he bounced, it was just something I'm still trying to reconcile myself to. And when I meet guys who got kids, man, I'll be like, "How your kids doing, man? Go see your kids, man." And when I realize that they don't really show no concern, man, I separate myself from them,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, man. I don't salute that. I don't condone that. I don't aid and abet that, man. You need to get with your kids, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to make sure I tried, man. Miss me with that, man.
Keep trying.
Keep trying, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. Sometimes I think dealing with baby mothers in court and all that deters a lot of fathers from
I
doing it.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. It ain't
Yeah.
easy. It
Yeah.
ain't easy. You know, I got this idea, man. I never voted in my life. I'm not a voter, man. But I knew a guy who had 6 kids, right? I was in prison with him. I met him, had 6 kids, deadbeat dad, man. I told him one day, I said, man, if I had the opportunity to vote for a law or make a law, guess what it would be? He said, "Oh boy, here we go." I said, I would ask to write this law in the Constitution. Any parent, any 2 people that bear a child, I don't care how much they don't get along. If that child gets to acting up, you could go move to Texas, have a great life with a new wife and have a new family. If your child get in trouble at school or in the courts, you subpoenaed automatically to come back. Your life needs to be disrupted. Yes, because that's your seed. And if you can figure out how to stay in touch, close enough, accessible to your seed, it's easy to go way over here and blame the mother, man. I don't know what she was doing with them kids, see, because you embarrassed. You embarrassed. So you want to push it back on the mother. But if he was a successful athlete or actor, you sit up. That's my son.
Mm-hmm.
That's my seed right there. Nah, you need to be inconvenienced. You need to take days off work just like she do. You need to figure out how to fly. It's going to be a warrant for your arrest because that's your kid. It's easy to go somewhere else and start all over, man, with somebody else, man. Now and now I left my seed with somebody else, his mother or his father. And he gets in trouble or she gets in trouble. And I'm over here enjoying my life. Man, my grandmother used to say, hell or high water wouldn't keep me from mine. No court, no, I would be so involved with my kids' life. They'd say, leave that man alone, man. Man, that would be nothing more important to me than be a father.
Right.
Like, tell me what's more divine? What? You give your boss more respect than you give being a father. And not just fathers, mothers do too. People give their employers their best selves and bring the scraps home.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the residuals. If I got any energy, if I got any kindness left, you'll get that. But the best of me I'm taking that to somebody who don't care nothing about me. That's crazy to me.
So have your book opened any doors for you?
Yeah, it gave me a lot of speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me mostly with white people.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Some white people, man, have this, in my opinion, some white people had this curiosity about Black endurance, man.
Mm-hmm.
They love to see how we bounce back. That's entertaining to them. It's intriguing to them. They love to hear our stories again and again, man, how we bounce back from the dead ground, got it from the dirt, got it from the mud, and they see us, we could smile. Oh, we still seem vibrant. We still seem positive. That's a curiosity to them, man. That's a study to them. Some white people have a lot of guilt. Some white people understand white privilege, understand racism historically, and that's their way. Supporting my book and getting me to talk about it, that's their way of kind of chipping away at that. And then some white people want to feel like they got an albino tiger on their side, so they want to sit beside me. And how many Black men can they say they met that's done 25 years in prison, single parent home, from the streets, that's articulate, that ain't running around calling white people racists and crackers, that don't seem like he got an ill intent bone in his body? That's rare to them. He ain't mad at the world. He ain't blaming the government. He ain't blaming white people because I don't got time in my life for that.
Right.
I'm aware of all of that.
Right, yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
But I'm doing other things. I don't got time to keep sitting in any space talking about how white people did me wrong. I got too much energy I'm put in doing myself right. I'm not blind to none of these realities, institutional stuff. I'm hyper aware of that.
Yeah, I got a couple people that I deal with in the circle. They constantly talk about, like, we all understand the struggle.
Yeah.
But then you have some Black people who don't think we've been set back, but we've been set. We were set back
for sure.
But we can't just sit there and keep blaming them.
Nah,
like you said, you know,
I don't got time.
Right, you ain't got time.
I don't, man. I'm 55, right? If I get 30 more years, man, I'll be 85. If I'm blessed to get that. Time ain't on my side, man. It just ain't. So a lot of things that I'm aware of that I might speak against momentarily or temporarily, I don't got time to harp on them, man. I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware of a lot of things, and some things I'm not aware of. But I'm so busy, man, directing my life in the way that I wanted to go. But along my way, I'm conscious. As they say, I'm woke.
Right. And that's the thing. If you put more energy into where you're trying to go instead of other energy.
Leon, don't nobody care.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah.
Leon, don't nobody care. Look at the news, man. It's blatant. We don't care nothing about you. We don't care nothing about you. Black Lives Matter. You can go walk. You can cry. You can call us all the names, and they all might be true, but we don't care. We're focusing on our agenda. While you sitting there waiting on somebody to pick up your agenda. Nobody don't care.
Yeah. Now, to be clear, he's talking about white people and their agenda. You know,
right? Exactly.
Some of them might get it kind of.
Nobody got time for that. I don't have time for that. Not in my life. Nah.
And that's always big with me. You know, I got a couple friends that call me Leon Trump.
Why?
Because they feel like I don't go hard enough, you know. And I'm like you. I'm aware, but they gonna do what they gonna
They
do.
gonna do, man.
You know.
Look, the curtain has been pulled back, right?
Mhm.
They're blatantly doing what they're doing
Mhm.
in front of the world. Whether you speak on it, against it, or not, that's not going to deter them. So the best advice I give myself is, man, build your life, direct your life based on your values.
Mhm.
That's the greatest thing you could ever do, is model what it means to build your life around your values.
Mhm.
And as my therapist told me, then you'll find your tribe. But as long as you keep trying to run door to door and wake people up, you're going to get more resistance from people that look like you. In my opinion.
And now it's some people, Black people, I know a few people that wouldn't like that statement that you made.
I know some people that won't like that statement.
Right.
I do know some people that won't like. It's true with some people. I didn't say everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. Right now, if Trump said he gonna give every Black person $2,500 check, man, half of these cats that got something against Trump gonna line up to get that check.
Right.
And they'll say, I don't like Trump, but if he gonna give away money, I'm gonna go get it. Not knowing that $2,500 furthers his agenda. Don't care to know that. Don't care to know that.
Right.
But Trump is saying this, and I don't get into politics. I don't vote. I told you that. It don't matter what color you are. I live on my values. I believe in a theocratic government. I don't think no man can do all the way right by nobody.
Right.
Because of imperfection. I think we biased. We're gonna have our favorites, and we're gonna let some things slide. But guess what? Trump, my favorite guy. If he exonerate my mother or my father and let them out of prison, I ain't got nothing bad about him, because he did something for me personally. So I like Trump. That's how we think. That's how man thinks.
Right.
Yeah. If you doing what I want you to do, Leon, you my best friend in the world, man. What kind of ice cream you like? But as soon as Leon going in a different direction, you questionable to me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. You change and you different. That's the human condition, in my opinion. And I one thing about me and my honesty, I could wake up tomorrow and say, Leon, man, let's do a retake, man. Half of that stuff I said, I've had an enlightenment. I've done some studying, man. I want to sit down again and I want to contradict myself and apologize, because I don't want to mislead nobody. I don't think that way no more. That's a part of evolution, growing and evolving. And I love that about me. I put myself under the light daily. And I say, nah, I don't think that's accurate. I misspoke. Yeah.
And sometimes you can't misspeak. You can say things in a moment, and then you go back and I shouldn't have said that. Or
Yeah, I don't think that way no more.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't have enough information. So I try to preface what I say based on where I am as a person now, based on what I think I know as a person now, based on what I read, which ain't always accurate, based on what I hear, which ain't always accurate. This is where I stand on a thing. But tomorrow I might knock all the pieces off the board and say, man, let's have a reset, man. I don't like Pittsburgh Steelers no more. I grew up liking them, had all that paraphernalia, but I don't like them no more.
Right. Right. So what's next for you? And are you still constantly promoting the book? Where can people find your book at?
Oh, I told you I'm like Master P. They could get my book out my trunk.
Out the trunk.
I'm old school, man. I'm an 80s baby. I grew up in the crack epidemic, and I love to exchange merchandise for cash in hand.
Right.
It's something about that that's so old school to me, right? However, I'm surrounded by people that tell me, man, you're not Fred Flintstone no more. You got to come into the age of the Jetsons.
Yeah, you got to get
and
this technology.
I do struggle with that a lot. I see how far I've gotten on my own, word of mouth, door to door with my book, speech to speech and stuff, venue to venue. But I'm slowly but surely delving into using technology to my benefit. But at this point, they could get my book directly from me, or go to Amazon. It's on Amazon. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing an ebook. Is it called ebook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Audio book. That's
audio
right, the
book.
audio book. Yeah, audio book.
Okay.
Because how many people like really read?
Right.
Yeah, take the time to read. So I want to, I guess, have all the options of whatever style you take in information available. I want to be on every platform that I can, but I'm so consumed with my landscaping business that I don't give my book its just due.
Mm-hmm.
And I love landscaping because it puts me directly with nature, and I feel most free when I'm around nature. Yeah, and that's one of my draws to it, man. That's what compels me to want to do it to the extent that I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's time for my book, man. I'm feel myself growing and evolving towards my book in a way that I haven't been given it. It's just due, and it's time.
Right.
And this right here is very helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna push it. We're gonna push it. So what could you leave? You said a lot, but I
Right.
know you got more in you. So what can you leave with someone who may be going through, I don't know, either someone without a father, someone who may be heading down the wrong path, or any of that? Just leave with something.
Wow, that's so broad.
Mhm.
I just went and talked to some 12-year-olds, about 10 of them yesterday in Henderson, that were part of a camp, a leadership camp, accountability camp,
Mhm.
teamwork camp, ministry camp, mentor camp. And I was asked that same question. And my answer changes a lot, but they all kind of work together for the good of the listener. People that's going through trauma, people that feel like they don't know which way to go, people that feel like they don't got the energy, people that feel like they might want to give up the ghost, like I was, like I did, like I felt. I want to tell them that I hopefully hearing me, seeing me, reading my book is at least a sliver of hope, faith, perseverance, self-preservation, accountability, acknowledgement, and have the courage, man, to dream, man, and be dangerous, man. Nipsey Hussle said, "Be dangerous, man," and that don't mean wilding out.
Right.
Be dangerous means have the courage, man, to take a chance and bet on yourself, man. We don't bet on ourselves enough. We love to watch the next man. We stand. Yeah, I used to be a heavy gambler, right?
Mhm.
I used to go to casinos all the time. Atlantic City was maybe 2 years for me. I had a fake ID. I wasn't old enough, but I would go into casinos, and more people stand behind a gambler, and they love the aroma of what it takes to slide 10, 20, $30,000 worth of chips and take a chance
Mhm.
on the dice to win. They wouldn't dare do it though, but they like being close as they can to somebody who has the courage to bet on themselves. I want to say to people, I want to get up and say, here, man, see what that feel like. I want to have enough money, right? To say, hey, Leon, take my seat, man. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, man. Bet them chips. You know why? I want you to know what that felt like. And I want you to take what that felt like back into your personal life, how it feel to bet on you. Because I want to tell you, man, you created an image of God just like me, man. Bet on yourself, man. Matter of fact, I'll bet with you. I won't leave you hanging. Let's bet on each other, man.
Mhm.
Because we give so much of ourselves to everybody else, man. Bet on you. Don't wait. Stop waiting on Trump. Stop waiting on Democrats. Stop waiting on Republicans. Stop waiting on this guy or that guy, this law, that law, this change. Bet on you, man. And people say, where do I start? Real small increment baby steps. It starts with, you know what? I'm going to work out today for 5 minutes. I'm betting on me. I'm going to drink more water today, 1 cup at a time. I'm betting on me. I'm going to read a chapter of a book today, 1 page at a time. I'm betting on me. I'm going to challenge my thinking when I tend to go negative.
Mhm. I'm
I'm betting on me, man. That's what I want to give to everybody, man. I want them to know what it feels like to bet on themselves.
Yeah. So impel forward, progress, precision, and clear direction. take action.
Take
You know,
action, man.
and
Impel.
that's what it's all
That's
about.
right.
Taking action. Like you said, I use a tagline: "Seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams," and that's what Impel Forward is about.
Beautiful.
That's what it's about, and that's why I do what I do, trying to inspire others to
man.
go forward.
Yeah.
Don't
And
be
I
complacent.
think that's where we connect that, man. I think that energy is a synergy of energy that kind of draws us. Cause I honor that, man. I don't want to be around nothing else but that.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in a prison around a lot of people that was so toxic and negative and mean-spirited and mad at the world and blaming everybody for everything, man. I don't want to get that aroma in my clothes, man. It's like cigarette smoke. I don't smoke, man.
Right.
I don't want to smell like smoke, man.
Right. That's right. Yes. Wow. We can go on and on.
We sure can, man. This is therapeutic
right.
for me because, like I said to you in our first meeting, man, I've been resurrected, man. Yeah. And I'm a dreamer, man. I had the dream to get out. I had the dream to get out, man. God told me you need to get your mind where your behind is. That was the advice that the long timers gave me as a rookie. Young buck, you need to get out that world. I used to get pictures in, man.
Right.
I grew up with a few guys that's in the entertainment business. Naughty by Nature, Queen Latifah. They were flooding me with pictures. And they say, man, you got a big old package of pictures today. Can I see them? They wanted to see my pictures. All NBA All-Star games, all these basketball, they pictures at shows traveling the world. And they would say, yeah, man, these pictures good, man. They keep you out there, but you got a long sentence, man. And I worry about you, man. Jersey is what they used to call me. You need to get your mind where your behind is. That was their advice to me. And you know what I would say to them? Man, I'm here just to clear the count, man. When they call count time, that's when I reappear. When they say count clear, that's when I disappear. I don't never want to get my mind where my behind is.
Right.
Only time I want to show up is when they say count time. I stayed out there. If I watched a movie or cartoon or heard a song about a car, a boat, a plane, I was on it. My mother flooded me with material about creative visualization, and I dared to dream. If I didn't dream, man, I'd be physically out, but my mind would still be in the penitentiary. And I know guys that move about every day like that. And it's the saddest sight to see, man, to see something as exotic as a human being that's finally been set free, moving around like they still in a cage.
Right. Because there's two ways it can be. It's like me and you, we don't forget where we came from.
No.
But we use it in another way. It's like we're never going to forget. It's like every day. It's like one day I was riding down the street. I'm going to show this picture one day. I was riding down the street, just come from working out. I think I was doing, not working out, doing cold therapy. And I saw this building, it was fixed up. So I turned around, took the picture of the building. And I just thought, on my way home, this building is a place where I used to sit and go in and sit in this building. It was ran down years ago though.
Okay.
But I had to go in this building and sit and wait for my name to be called to get a job. That was when I came home. And so I'm like, for people to tell you when, where, and how to tell your story.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people like you said earlier, it's a lot of people not going to hear your story. No matter how big you get, still somebody who don't know of you or don't know about you.
Exactly.
And that's why it's good to tell your story. You can help somebody.
And you never know who you helping.
Right.
They don't always come to tell you, oh, you helped me, that was great. It might ease out the room and never say a word to you, but you never know. You know, again, I always have biblical references, man. The Egyptians, man, the pharaohs and all of that, the kings and queens of Egypt, Africa, when they had these elaborate tombs, right? All their jewelry, all their riches went with them because they believe in the afterlife, they would take those things with them. And guess what happened? Some strange people came from a strange land, raided these tombs, and rewrote their story. They never told their story. Somebody rewrote it how they wanted to write it.
Right.
I'm not going out like that.
Right.
I'm telling my story in my own tongue, with my own voice, my own inflections, the way I'm going to tell it.
And how many times you want to tell it?
And how many other times I want to tell it. And then if somebody's tired of hearing it, just like going to see a movie you don't like, man, check out.
Check out.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, because I remember sitting in this building. I remember asking myself, like, how did I get here? Like, how did I get in this spot where I got to come, wait for them to call my name to go work on a road somewhere?
Yeah.
But I knew I wasn't gonna be in that place forever.
He wasn't gonna be there forever.
I knew I wasn't gonna be there forever.
Yeah. So I try to inspire people, man, to dream, man, to live, to be free, and figure out what has you bound. You know, try to examine yourself to figure out what you're bound to. And you said something that's key. It's both and. Mike Tyson has a tattoo of his prison number on him.
I used to had the same thing.
And people ask him, and he said, man, I don't never want to forget it.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back, but I don't never want to forget it. Days of Grace by the tennis player, the belated tennis player Arthur Ashe, said when he went to Africa, he had a tennis match, a US Open match, and he was practicing. And everywhere he went to practice, there was a little kid sitting lurching in the seams watching him. He was nervous. Mm-hmm. So he told his security, yo, you see that kid over there to the left? He been here for the last 2 days. Let's find another place to practice because I don't know what he up to. The kid would show up. So one day he sent his detail to go get the kid. And they asked the kid, what you up to? You know what the kid told Arthur Ashe? I never seen a free man before. I don't know what that looks like. Just think about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. What did he mean? He never seen a free man.
He never seen a free man, especially back in black man, free to go about. You know, over there they had these ideas that Americans are all free. He never seen a black man of Arthur Ashe's stature that he considered free. This is apartheid going on over there.
Right.
And to see that, and I wish they would find that kid and interview him now. He's probably adult, probably maybe dead and gone. To see that in living color in real time gives you no excuse. No excuse. So whenever I tell my story, it's an indictment. What's your excuse? I'm not comparing notes. You might have did less time or more time. I'm not comparing notes, but what's your excuse? And my ether challenges people in that way, and everybody's not comfortable with it. Some people say, you got the audacity, man. You got the audacity to make me examine myself, my decisions, my favorite color, my favorite food, why I listen to hip hop. Just because I'm black don't mean I got to listen to no hip hop. I don't owe hip hop nothing. Hip hop don't owe me nothing. I might like country music. It's my right. I can do that.
Right.
Man, biblically speaking, God created us in his image, man. And the only 2 commandments he gave human beings, be fruitful and multiply the earth, right? And don't eat of the tree of knowledge. Them the only 2 things he told us to do, period. God don't like oppression. We ain't designed to tell nobody else what to do. We ain't designed to be holding nobody captive. I know that gets into law and order and structure because of imperfection. We need these strongholds. We need structure. We need law. We need order. I get that, but that don't change how we are designed. Animals would gnaw their own paws off to be free and bleed to death. I don't care how plush the zoo is. San Diego, they say one of the best zoos in the world, man. They might find a polar bear or a lion dead. Do the examination, exhume the body. The vet say, we don't know why he died. I know why he died. His spirit was broke. He ain't supposed to be bound. And that's an animal, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you hear people talking about, you know, of course, you go to the zoo to see these animals.
Yes. He ain't supposed to be bound.
Yeah.
He was born free. But man want to box everything in. Ownership. It ain't supposed to be no borders, bro. We supposed to move about, man, freely. Free agents. I know in a perfect world that would work, but it's been offset by man saying, this is mine. You can't come over here. And matter of fact, I like how yours look. I'm going to come get some of that too. I'm going to increase mine by taking some of yours. And here we go. But the closer we get to our essence, to our true selves, to our original selves, we realize, man, I ain't supposed to be bound to nothing I don't want to be bound to, man. And neither are you. And some gatekeepers want to keep us locked in. But some of us, man, like Nat Turner, some of us are like Harriet Tubman. Some of us are like Sojourner Truth. Some of us say, nah, man, I ain't free till all of them is out. Nas said, open every cell in Attica and send them to Africa. Some of us, that's our ether, is what I'm saying, man. And some of us live and die by that, man. Some of us have been conditioned in a different way. Some of us say, man, it's the best I ever had it, man. You done enough time, man. Some guys make prison, man, so plush, man. They be like, man, I was homeless on the street, man. I don't got to worry about food and shelter. I'm good here. And that's your druthers. I'm not trying to challenge that, but to those who have become aware that there's something else that belongs to them, that's available to them, that's who I'm talking to. I know everybody not gonna agree with what I'm saying. I don't really care about that. And I ain't trying to offend or challenge. I ain't trying to debate. I'm not Dr. Umar. I'm not trying to even do that with nobody. Where I am right now, this is my space in life and my mindset right now. And as I evolve, I'll be somewhere else. But one thing I do know is that, man, we all meant to be free, and we all identify when we see somebody that's free in their movements. It could be an athlete. It's amazing to see an athlete that seems so free in his movement. It could be a singer. When he or she reaches that point in their lyrics, in their singing, and they're free, we hear it. You could hear that in the song. It could be an actor. It could be in anything. When we could identify when we see somebody that's free within whatever they're doing. It could be an artist. It could be a performer. We say, wow, they was free in that moment, man. They just let go. We that's why I know that we all innately want to be free, because we attracted to it. We like that little boy following Arthur Ashe around because we want to see what that's like. But too many of us, for whatever reason, don't have the courage. Don't have the courage, man, to step over into it, because we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it feels like. We don't know what comes with it. It's safer, man, to stay in that 9 to 5. Yeah.
I don't even, I had a couple people say I shun people on 9 to 5, which I don't. But like we were saying earlier, it's not about the 9 to 5 is it provides. But my thing is about being complacent, because it's a lot of things people are doing on 9 to 5 jobs in corporate that I always ask the question, what are you doing for that company? Because it all goes back to a lot of things when you're talking about, a lot of people don't like, they talk against billionaires, millionaires, or people who making money, but they're on a 9 to 5, but they're making their boss money, their business money. So that's one thing I try to understand why they be so mad at others, making money,
where that's coming from.
Where it's coming from, because and well, what I was saying was, I asked people, what are you doing on your job that you can do for yourself on the side to make yourself or create another business for yourself?
So you trying to stimulate a thought when you ask people that. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's a scripture where Jesus said, the poor will be with you always. He was telling his disciples that, right? And I believe that about everything. The 9 to 5ers, they'll be with us always. The entrepreneurs, they'll be with us always. The Republicans, the Democrats, whatever it is, everything that man has lined up for to speak against ain't went nowhere. Tell me what man has eradicated since we've been on this planet. Tell me. What has he eradicated? I don't care how much money, how much he stood in line, how many laws, votes. What has he eradicated? Tell me. I ask everybody. I ask scholars at Duke this question when I'm there speaking and we just having a roundtable discussion. What has man eradicated with all his efforts? I beg somebody to tell me. I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is something, I guess I would say, to think about, but I don't know.
Injustice, been here. All racism, been here. What wars? It's been a war every day of my life somewhere on this planet. Unrecorded war. It's a war in Haiti right now. Did you know that?
Yeah.
No, you never see it on the news, do you?
No, I didn't hear.
Why?
Only reason I know about it because I have Haiti friends.
Me too. Why we don't never see that on the news?
Yeah.
They took over the never. Why? Tell me why. Russia, Ukraine on the news. Israel and Palestine on the news. Haiti been battling before they even went to war. Do you see that on the news? Tell me why. I got my theory, but that's another sit down. My point is, all of these things that we think we're pushing against, I'm not saying don't. If that's your motivation, if you so inspired, go for what you know. But we've been told all these things will be with us always. They're not going nowhere. The poor will be with you always. I don't care how much money you put in the homelessness. It's going to be here because it's a system. See, that's the trick of it all, right? Me and you hit the lottery for 1.8 billion. We say we're going to give it all to housing. We're going to make sure everybody in the Bull City got housing. That ain't going nowhere because it's a system that thrives off of that. And they ain't getting ready to let me and you or nobody else upset that system.
Yeah, we talked about that on a past episode. I was reading somewhere, I can't remember, when it was talking about how, I don't know how true it is, or I may have looked it up, that homelessness is a business.
Absolutely. Just like prison.
Yeah.
The powers that be has figured out how to monetize everything on both ends. It's a business to get grants to eradicate homelessness. That's a business. Grant writers make money, whether the grant goes through or not. Somebody makes some money. It's all a business because it's a system that all of this falls up under. And that's not to say sit down and do nothing. That's not to say, man, don't say bump it all. Let me get me. No, whatever you called to. People have asked me, people that have met me, that heard me talk about my life and my book. What can I do? What can I do towards minimizing recidivism and getting rid of incarceration and all of that stuff? I say, according to the measure of your faith. And they said, what do you mean by that? I said, some people got enough faith to go all the way to Africa and save the lion. Get his leg out the trap. Get that close. Some people sit right in their living room in Durham, North Carolina, and send $50 to someone that's going to save the lion. According to the measure of your faith, some people want to go all the way into the prison system, want to go all the way to Raleigh, want to speak about getting people off death row. Some people, all they're going to do is send a text or a meme that say, yes, right, I agree. You need to get people off death row. It's according to the measure of your faith. Some people don't have the faith to get up close and personal and really go into the prison because they're afraid. I don't knock them. I'm not saying something's wrong with that. I'm saying be honest be honest with your faith.
Right.
Man, don't get up under 315, man, if you know you can't lift it, man. Start with 135. Be honest about that. You can build up to it, but you got to start honestly where you are with what your values are. Some people, their whole mission is not prison. It's another thing they own. It's just not prisons. Some people all into prisons and reentry. It's because these things will be with us always. None of them are going nowhere. Pick your soup. Because it's a lot of shit in it. And it ain't going nowhere, bro.
Right.
None of it is. Incarceration makes way too much money. Yeah. It's not going nowhere. It's business. Privatized. Where it's going.
Big business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we done went all the way around the world.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but this is good, man.
I enjoyed it, man.
Can't wait to see what's next. For your book and you doing more. And hey, wish you the best of luck.
My man. Anytime now.
Get to hear you again. And you're always welcome here.
And I keep telling guys about you. Where your bathroom at?
It's back there. Wait a minute. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share to the MPL Fort podcast. And he has to go to the bathroom. So, and remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams.
And
go get this book.
From the inside out. Leon have my email address, my phone number.
Give me your email address. Copy, give it to him.
I gotta go give it to him. I gotta go to the bathroom.
I don't know. It's gonna be in the links. Back there. Take care. Seize the opportunity to grab your dreams.